Welcome to Dissecting the 80s. I am Tripp Lano, one half of the Mega Podcasting Powers, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, a man who knows that if you're in a horror movie, you should probably trust the raving lunatic, and you should never forget what happened in the movies that came before this. The Macho Andrew.
Andrew Lano. And I would not call Donald Pleasance a raving lunatic.
I mean, he's kind of a raving lunatic.
Yeah, but, like, it's... For me, the raving lunatic is, like, the guy at the gas station with one tooth who's like, don't you go up to that cabin.
You should listen to that guy, too, though.
You should, yes. But, like, when I think raving lunatic, that's the man I think of. Not the man who's like, oh, I worked extensively with the killer. I know the killer inside and out and can give you a psychological profile on paper and verbally. Like, that to me feels more like the specialist.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. This is Dissecting the 80s. Every other week, we dissect the pop culture of the 1980s, usually through movies. Next up is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So you know what that means.
We gotta go back. We gotta go dissect the 80s. It's your Shatner mask. Something's gotta be done about your Shatner mask.
When the mega powers explode.
I'm talking about the 80s. Oh, yeah.
Great Scott!
Cream of the crop. Oh, yeah.
Mega power, yeah!
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
This is the final movie in 2017's Fourbruary.
Might be my favorite Fourbruary so far.
Yeah, mine for sure.
Genuinely, like, enjoyed every movie.
Yeah, I really did enjoy all three of these. It's going to be fun. We'll do at the end. We'll talk about all three of them together as like one piece since we put them together this way. But yeah, this is the first Fourbruary I can remember that I was like genuinely looking forward to watching the next one and the next thing that came. So that was a nice change of pace.
I think it's our longest stretch since our first year of movies and things we actually enjoy watching.
It certainly has been a long time since
we burned through it, like everything we wanted to do in the first year, and then we're like, well, shit.
Yeah. We have a couple of gems that are like waiting. Some stuff people have asked me about. You know, when I talked to them about the show. Have you ever done an episode of this or that? Well, we gotta space those out because if you do those all in the first year, you're suddenly dragging the bottom of the barrel. We decided to scrape the bottom of the barrel before we ate the choice stuff on top. It was a weird way to go.
Yes, it was.
So this is the fourth Halloween film, and this is the part when the producers of the franchise decided, you know what, we've made a huge mistake. And we're bringing back Michael Myers because that's, weirdly enough, people didn't want to just see a movie called Halloween. They wanted to see the Shatner mask.
This is Baby Come Back. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. It can be like before again. I promise, baby.
This is sadly singing Heaven Can Wait to yourself at karaoke.
Yes. Or standing outside the window with a boombox.
Yeah. Baby Come Back, and it's Michael slowly pulls the shade down of his apartment.
No, I think it's...
Moustapha Akkad is out there with the boombox like, we want you back, Michael!
No, I think he's holding up the boom... I'm picturing it's Michael Myers holding the boombox playing the Halloween theme song to an audience member who's just like pulling down the... She's like... No.
It's Donald Pleasance.
It's Donald Pleasance! He still has his burn makeup on.
He just slowly pulls the shade down.
That's the movie I want to see.
Oh, man.
That's the movie I want to see.
And his wife is like, what's wrong? What is that noise, Donald?
Nothing. Yeah, I want to see the... He's standing holding the boombox in the jumpsuit.
And then he pulls it off and it's John Carpenter.
It's John... Look around the world, pretty baby. But Michael, you can't make him a prom queen. He's a raving old man. So kill me.
He's holding a tiara, and he's lurking in the background of a closet with the dress in one hand and tiara in the other.
Yes.
Oh man.
So kill me.
Oh man, I can't even breathe. I was like kind of worried about this one because I didn't know that I had that many good jokes. We found one real quick.
Real quick.
Oh, whew.
So Halloween 4.
So yeah, this is a movie that we have things to say about.
Essentially, it starts with being like with the movie telling the audience, "It's okay, guys. It's about Michael Myers this time. We promise. We're sorry."
They so quickly are like, "Look, we know we fucked up. We brought him back. He's right there in the title. We're bringing him home." And it's real like B-movie stuff. The first bit. So there's a bunch of scenes establishing shots of scarecrows and pumpkins and Halloween related whatnotery, like at a pumpkin patch, and then it cuts to the hospital where Michael's being kept. But it's lit. It's very much like 50s
Abandoned,
like, almost like 50s sci-fi. Like a lot of weird lighting and underlit stuff, lit from beneath stuff, and then jail bars and things. It's a very mad scientist-y feeling place.
I mean, it is a sanatorium, which is one of my top 20 favorite words to use.
No, I mean, it is, but it seems like a sanatorium that you'd see in a 50s movie, not a sanatorium from the 80s. I mean, I assumed it wasn't just cackling maniacal weirdos, you know?
It might as well have been.
Yeah, it just felt very Reefer Madness-y of, it's an insane asylum, and there's a person in the background going like,
reaching through the bars at people.
Yeah. Like it's not the Arkham Asylum. It's a sanatorium.
Yeah.
Like the Joker isn't there.
Batman's gonna swoop in.
Yeah, there's no rogues gallery. It's just people who have mental illnesses. They need to be taken care of.
Yes. And it looks like he dies while his blood pressure is being taken. That's what I got out of that. But
like you thought that he was dead?
Like his arm, she's taking his blood pressure and it's like hisses, and then his arm just falls off the bed sheet, like flopping.
I thought it was supposed to be like he's catatonic, basically.
Oh, that could be. I was like, if he's dead, why are they like just torch him, toss him in the crematorium?
Yeah. So so what's happened here is the head of the sanatorium is really in the mood to get rid of Dr. Loomis for some reason, and so he transfers Michael Myers, thinking that Loomis will either quit or leave if Michael Myers isn't there anymore, or die. That was the third option he said. He does say or die, which is pretty terrible. But this is one of those things that we've talked about many times with sequels where, and luckily this movie quickly changes course about that, but the doctor doesn't know anything about Michael Myers. Like, even if he's only been there for a year or two, he's not heard of Michael Myers. Yeah, that was frustrating that, like, the hospital staff super was like, what are you're crazy. But yeah, he came in after being shot and set on fire and, like, still bopping around. Right. And obviously Loomis has all but retired, but stays on because he's trying to catch Michael Myers. Can't we give the guy any level of slack? Like none level is what we're giving to this guy? Because the people of Haddonfield, they get their shit together right quick, and they're like, what do we do? How do we fix this? What's going on? Give us this. I was so relieved at that. That was such a relief that he goes to the sheriff's office, and they're first like, I don't know. And then the guy, immediately when it's like, oh yeah, you're Dr. Loomis, like, okay, let's do this. You go do that thing. You go do that thing. Call for the state trooper back up, and it's like, finally, someone in a horror movie. It's super refreshing. It's so relief. Such a relief. We don't keep the beaches open regardless. Like, this isn't this. This is nice. This is how you do your job, civil servant. Don't be Mayor Vaughn. Except for the suit, you can definitely wear that suit. Yeah,
but
no,
don't
that
be
is,
Mayor Vaughn.
Yeah, that is an idea. If anybody ever wants to send a gift to this show, either of us would love the Mayor Vaughn suit from Jaws with the anchors on it, the dark gray.
I do have a seersucker suit now, though, so I'm one step closer to Mayor Vaughn. Remember, I bought it for $15 at a thrift store.
Yes. Contact us at 856-DISSECT, and we'll give you our measurements so you can whip that up for us. But so Michael's being transported in the back of an ambulance, and this is an interesting turn because it's been a long time since I've seen Halloween 2, so maybe it's gorier than I remember, but this felt way nastier Friday the 13th type gore than the first Halloween has, certainly.
Yes, for sure.
There's two orderlies in the back of the ambulance, and Michael jams his thumb into the guy's forehead, and goop comes out of it. It's very
after he like brain slams him into the wall.
Yeah. It's very Evil Dead kind of gross.
I also forgot because I've seen almost all of these, and I remember there being a scene. I remember this. There's a scene when Jamie Lee Curtis's character dies, and she's like on the roof of an insane asylum or a hospital or whatever, and she's like,
"Yeah, I think you're talking about
H2O.
You."
And she dies. No, it's the one after H2O, I think, because H2O she has a kid.
Yeah, you're right. It is the one after.
And I was like, when does this happen? Because this movie defo talks about Jamie Lee Curtis being dead, like deader in dirt. And in one of the sequels, does she just like pop out of the woodwork and is like, I've been alive the whole time. Sorry, daughter. Piss off.
Oh no, Halloween has the most confusing movie continuity in the history of ever.
Because they did 2 movies, changed it up, decided to do 3 more movies in a sequence, then for the 7th movie was like, you know what? Forget those last 3 movies, they didn't happen. Last 4. Forget the last 4 movies.
We're going back to the beginning for 2, and then we're going to go all the way back to the beginning with some remakes right after that.
Mm-hmm. God, those remakes are garbage. Rob Zombie, just stop.
Yeah,
just stop.
Yeah. I am not a fan either. We're going to get a lot of hate tweets, so thank you in advance for all of those that you send our way. We know that you like it. We're sorry. It's okay that you like it. We just don't.
Because here's the thing. My thoughts are, if you dislike something and can eloquently speak about the reasons why you don't like it, no one can give you shit for it. If you can vocalize what you're feeling, then shut up. Then we just disagree. It's not like you just shit on something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that seems very reasonable, but also you're an idiot because it's the internet.
I know. But you know.
I just don't need a backstory for my psycho murderer movies.
It's like, oh, the silent killer definitely needed an abusive home life and a slutty sister and a stripper mom.
Don't make me feel bad
and
for
an
the guy.
alcoholic
I
dad.
Watch him stab people.
Yeah, no, he doesn't need that.
Yeah,
that's not what he needs.
If you're
Stop making me look at your wife's boobs, Rob Zombie. Stop it.
Yeah, him and Tim Burton need to form a club of "Isn't My Wife Gorgeous" and just buy a fucking island somewhere. Who?
Tim and Helena.
I did not know that.
They separated like 4 years ago.
I bet she's still going to be decolletaging up all his movies because that's the only thing he's into. It's like with Tarantino, how like he has a foot fetish because of the movies of his that you've watched. That that Tim Burton is really into his wife, which is way less odd to know, but also like we get it, bro. Like relax a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm on that page. I'm definitely on that page.
Anyway, meanwhile, back in Halloween 4,
back in Halloween Town,
Jamie Lloyd, who is Laurie's daughter.
Yes. Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter.
Yeah. I spent way too much time trying to figure out that she was her daughter before they told us in the movie. Did you instantly know that, or was I stupid?
I mean, I assumed as much because there's a very awkward scene. Like her first scene is where she's sitting on the couch at 4 a.m, looking out the window at the ambulance, at what we thought was the ambulance.
Right.
But it turns out it's not. And this girl comes to sit next to her and is like, "You're up super late for a 7-year-old." And she's like, "Do you love me?" And the girl says, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Like a sister." And the girl's response is, "Well, we're not really sisters, but that doesn't make me love you any less."
It's really fucked up.
You know what you don't need to qualify? Whether or not you're actually sisters. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah, it is. And so, but So is that her cousin?
It's... I don't know how they are actually related, because they refer to her as her foster sister.
Right.
So I assume they're not... I don't know if they're actually related.
So they're just the Lloyd family, and they adopted Jamie.
Yes.
Okay. And then the most messed up thing is I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis has a daughter in Halloween 2 because it's only like 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah, they don't. That is not spoken about.
I think this daughter arrived between Halloween 2 and Halloween 4 that we didn't get to see, and then also Jamie Lee Curtis's character Laurie
Died.
Strode got killed. Yeah.
Well,
again, we off screen.
This is 10 years after the first one, I think.
Yes, it's 88.
So, assuming that time is real in this, like that time is real, that means Laurie had a kid when she was like in her 20s, like early 20 at the oldest.
Yeah, no, I'm not judging her for having the child. My question is just...
No, I'm saying like in that timeline. Why is this
not in the movie? Like, why did all of these things happen off screen? I guess probably because they couldn't afford to get Jamie Lee Curtis in the mix.
Yeah, I assume Jamie Lee was done, because she doesn't come back for another 10 years.
Yeah, well, wisely.
Yes.
So Jamie Lloyd is crying over pictures of Laurie, and then she's running away from her bed and gets tripped by a mysterious hand underneath, and she's having these horrible nightmares about Michael. And she doesn't know who he is. She just knows he's the bad dream man, which is weird, right? Because so here's a meta question I need to ask about this movie.
Go for it.
And this ties into it. In about 20 minutes of movie time, she's going to be at the store buying a Halloween costume, and there's going to be a Michael Myers mask on the shelf.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So I wrote down a note like, why is there a Michael Myers mask? This is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And then later in this movie, there's a sequence where like 6 Michael Myerses surround the car, and Loomis almost shoots one, and then he rips his mask off. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm just kidding. It's a prank. And then he goes running away. So like, Michael Myers is famous enough to have masks, and part 2 of that, this little sleepy community is just totally fine with people having actual murderer masks as a Halloween gag? Like, what is the thing happening here?
I'm curious if it was like in Scream when they're like, "Oh, these masks are a dime a dozen. You can find them at any store across the country." Even though I don't think they actually were a thing before the movie Scream.
Right. I think that's correct.
I'm thinking maybe it's not established in any way, but it's possible that it was like, "Oh, this is just generic spooky Halloween mask."
But later, those dudes are dressed like them. They even have the overalls on.
Maybe
overalls.
It's I don't
overalls.
know.
Michael Myers in overalls is a very much less threatening thing.
No shirt, just overalls,
glistening as he drives the tractor.
That feels like Jason would have worn overalls. Jason wears overalls.
Jason definitely wears overalls. Yeah,
he wears. He has a jacket, overalls, and like a flannel shirt.
Yeah. There's no bare shoulders.
He only has one thing. He only has one like shoulder strap down.
Jason's chopping wood and like wiping sweat off his brow.
He wears overalls like I wear overalls.
He's got a single piece of straw tucked into one of the holes of his hockey mask.
Hey, Mom, who's our new neighbor? Oh, that's Jason. He seems nice.
Why don't you bring him this plate of cookies and lemonade?
Then she gets her head chopped off.
Yeah, obviously. I didn't think we even had to say that. I think everybody knew that was... There's a thunking of wood and then another thunking and a head gets thrown through the mother's window.
And then he tries to put a cookie through the slots of his hockey mask.
He does like a cookie monster against his mask. He gets a single chocolate chip every 10 minutes or so.
But to answer your question, it is weird and unexplained. And I thought I could try and explain some of it, but it doesn't hold water. Because
I don't understand why she has this mental image of Michael Myers other than he's a pop culture figure in this town.
Yeah, and there's also a really weird thing where when she goes to the store to buy the costume that's the exact one Michael Myers wore when he was a baby.
Yeah.
They later show that she has a photograph of Michael Myers in that costume when he was a child.
Right. Also, the costume is the only one on the rack that's not made out of plastic. So
That's what I said.
clearly
It's the only. She found the only one that wasn't a plastic tablecloth with neckties and a shitty mask.
Yeah, which leads me to believe that Michael put it there. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, all right.
Oh, wait a minute. I guess he could have.
Yeah. So let's circle back and come, because I have this weird Michael Myers theory I want to bring up, but it makes more sense that if we go back a little bit. So.
Oh, by the way,
yeah, go ahead.
Jamie Lee Curtis was busy doing A Fish Called Wanda when this movie was coming out.
Yeah, a little bit better choice. A little bit
So
better.
she was moving on up.
Pretty good comedy with John Cleese over this. Yes, absolutely.
So go on, your theory.
I think this would have been relatively close to Trading Places too. I think that was 89.
83 was Trading Places.
Oh, I'll have to cut that out. I sound like an idiot.
I told
So-
you I once tried to explain Trading Places to someone, and they thought I was making up a movie.
What? That they didn't believe it was actually a thing?
Yeah, well, because we were playing the game. I don't know if it's a real game or my friends just made it up. Where like you say an actor and someone says a movie they were in, and then you say another actor from that movie, and you just go around the circle making the chain.
Like Kevin Bacon.
Essentially, yeah. And so someone said Jamie Lee Curtis, and I was like, "Oh, Trading Places," and they were like, "What?" And I was like, Trading Places. It's got Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy and Jamie Lee Curtis. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, it ends with them on a train, and Dan Aykroyd, I think, is in blackface, and someone's in a monkey costume, and they put a dude in a monkey costume in a cage with a real monkey, and he gets boned by the monkey a lot.
And people think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's weird.
Casual bestiality rape at school.
Yeah, and they were like, I'm pretty sure you're making up this movie to continue the game. And I was like, no, it is a real film.
That's ridiculous.
I know. These movies also imply often that like Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees came through this tiny second story window.
Yeah.
And I, for once, would love to see the scene of them awkwardly shambling through this teeny-ass upper floor window.
Yeah, because these are always big MFers. Like, they're beefy boys.
They're like 300 pounds, 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide.
Yeah.
Like, what? They came through the tiny bay window?
Yeah, it'll be a bathroom. It'll be a
came through the
bathroom
transom?
window.
Is it called?
Yeah, where they flip halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally use Santa Claus logic in these movies. I mean, there are a couple points later on in this movie where no bullshit, Michael Myers has to teleport to do what he does.
100%.
And it's not a dream sequence. Yes. So anyway, Loomis
after the roof? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Okay.
It's exactly what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
All right, we're gonna circle it back here so we can make some sense. So, Loomis, it's one of my favorite parts of the movie because it's just so ridiculous. If you've ever used crutches on a linoleum floor, you know that it makes this like noise as you go down the hallway. Mm-hmm. And Loomis is limp hustling down this hallway of a hospital, presumably to yell at the guy who transferred Michael Myers. But they left in all the of his cane, so it undercuts the seriousness so well that he's like angrily striding down this hallway, but it's like suction, 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 suction. I don't know if you caught that, but I couldn't stop
I didn't
laughing.
catch that. I wish I did, though.
So, and then he gets into the office, and he starts yelling at his supervisor, like, what have you done? This guy's a monster. And the supervisor's like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. And he just points at his own scarred, horrible face and is like, I didn't make this up, Johnny. Like, he looks like fucking Two-Face.
Yeah, basically. He's like, I set myself on fire to stop him. Yeah, I'm really overreacting, dude.
And then they get a phone call that there's been a car accident with the transportation that was moving around Michael Myers. So they run out there, and another great... There's some really great Loomis lines in this. And I have to say...
He's generally my favorite part.
Oh, absolutely. And, like, this movie's not good by any standard measure, and they get worse from here. And he never stops trying.
That's what I love about him. He is always there, giving 100%, committing to everything.
Yeah, if you just isolated his performance, you'd be like, is he like doing a King Lear or something? There's like, what does he think he's in? Because it's not Halloween 4, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it is not the In the Weeds sequel to Halloween.
But he always gives a shit, which is so nice. It really makes these movies watchable. But he goes, you're talking about him as if he's human. he stopped being that years ago. And then he hustles up to his car. Where are you going? And he goes, Haddonfield. It's only 4 hours away. So either you'll find him in 4 hours or I will. And then he jets off to this.
You also missed the part where the ambulance is half submerged, its back end, into a lake, and they're like, where are you going? And he cane hobbles his way into the river waist deep to look in the back of the ambulance. He's like, well, he's left. He murdered everyone and he's gone.
And he's able to discern with like a casual glance into the back of the ambulance exactly what transpired there and make a decision while everyone else is like, oh, we found a few bodies. And I wanted to, as morbid as this sounds, I wanted to say, why don't you just count how many heads you have? If the bodies are all mangled, you just have to count heads, literally. Count how many heads you found.
Let's do a head count real quick.
Do a literal head count, and you will know how many people you found. Mm-hmm. He goes to a gas station where Michael has just recently visited and raised a little hell. And he discovers that he puts some gas in his car and then discovers that the gas station attendant has been killed, and then goes into the diner and sees the waitress has been killed.
Old gas stations worked on the idea that you filled up your car and then could go pay. Like, that was how that could work?
I believe so.
What insanity.
I mean, the other thing, too, is I think people just would go in and be like, hey, $10 on pump, whatever.
But then why? It feels like you should have, like, they should have to allow you to pump the gas first.
Yeah, people were probably a little more honest back then. I want to say.
Think?
It couldn't have been that rampant of a problem, or they wouldn't have done it that way.
That's true. I just was like, what, like, hell is this? It must have been awful for the gas station companies.
Think about credit.
That's why gas prices are so high now, because no one paid for gas in the 80s.
That's what it is. We found the secret. They were just all stealing it for 30 years. And finally someone was like, if we charge more than 8 cents a gallon, people might be less inclined to just leave without paying for it. Think about credit card transactions back in that day. They literally scraped your credit card onto carbon paper and then mailed that somewhere, I think. I still don't understand that, and I've tried to do the research, and I probably just read it and forgot, but it seems like it would have been really easy to commit credit card fraud in those days.
I feel like if like anyone today traveled back to the 80s, they could just make off with so much money and just goods. They could just steal everything.
You wouldn't even need to steal a sports almanac because you could just commit so many web crimes before anyone knew what they were.
Oh, yeah. That'd be amazing.
I want to see that movie where someone time travels to like 1994, circa Sandra Bullock in The Net, and just orders a lot of pizza online and never has to pay for it through nefarious means.
Oh yeah,
I'd watch that movie. The lamest time traveler. So Loomis sees the dead waitress in the diner, and then he sees Michael, who's got his head wrapped up all with bandages because he doesn't have his mask, and they have a little like, take me, don't go back to Haddonfield, take me, and then he shoots at him, and he just teleports out of there because he gets shot at like 4 times, and then he's just not there anymore.
Yep, just disappears. Poof. Because he goes somehow into the garage and drives a tow truck.
Okay, so this is what...
Where did he learn to drive?
Well, we know that he learns how to drive because he drives in the first movie.
Does he?
Yeah, so he gets to Haddonfield. This is actually a plot point in the first movie. I just watched it for Halloween, so it's relatively fresh in my mind.
I don't remember that. I have to.
There is literally a line where Loomis goes, "And how did he learn to drive?" and alleges that one of the orderlies taught Michael how to drive.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
There's actually someone who made a short film a few years ago for Halloween that was literally an orderly teaching Michael how to drive. It was pretty funny. But this is the crazy part is he doesn't only drive, he drives a big truck, which is a different kind of driving generally.
Yeah.
And so you hear noise like a door shutting, and I was like, oh, he just stole Loomis's car. That's going to be funny that Loomis has no car. No, he didn't steal Loomis's car. He got in the mechanic's tow truck, blew out the garage door, and then somehow blew up Loomis's car and the gas pumps at the same time.
Magic.
He is a criminal mastermind along the order of like a Cobra
and a
Commander.
Wizard.
Yeah,
and a wizard.
Yes. You're a wizard, Michael.
Yes.
Welcome to Haddonfield School of Magic.
Oh my god, that would be awful.
It's
we
just
also-
all crop-based magic.
Yes, pretty much. we can make the wheat grow faster.
Wheat just grow us. It's the only spell you'll ever need.
But Rachel goes to eat breakfast.
Wait, sorry. Also, when Michael blows up the gas pumps, he manages to get the telephone pole set on fire, which makes it so Loomis can't even call for help if he figures out how to fix the phones that he broke. Like, it is crazy levels of mastermindery from Michael Myers.
Who should have been developmentally challenged at this point, right?
Yeah, he should basically be a vegetable. Anyway, sorry. You take it to breakfast.
So they're eating breakfast. Mom's clearly doing her thing. And she looks at the daughter, and she's like, "That's not all you're eating for breakfast." And I was like, "What's she holding?" She's holding a bagel with cream cheese. Like, that's a breakfast.
It's like when you see the cereal commercial, and it's part of this complete breakfast, and it's a 2,800 calorie breakfast for some reason.
Yeah, it's half an orange, a bagel, a bowl of fruit, and the bowl of cereal, and a glass of milk and orange juice.
It's like, that's a big brunch, and that's like a 2-meal day. What are you talking about? Like, slap a mimosa in there.
Yeah,
and
where are the gays sitting around this table? Because that is a brunch.
There is not enough really nice shoes at that table. I'll tell you that right now. I'll tell you that right now. There are not enough really nice shoes there.
But I was like, bagel with cream cheese is a pretty standard breakfast.
I would look at that and go, that's a big breakfast for me on a work day. Like, I'll be sleepy at 11. That's too much work
I'm
breakfast.
going to eat this much carbs and go take a nap in the break room.
Yeah, that's like when, you have that, people are like, oh, they order pizza for lunch, and you get some, and then afterwards you're like, man, I shouldn't have had 3. Why did I have an extra piece? Why did I go to 3? Why did I go to 3? I got to do a presentation.
You fool.
Just because it was free doesn't mean you're not going to pay for it.
Your soul will pay. I also love the theme song for Halloween. I forgot how much I enjoyed it because it's vibrant but spooky and very tense.
Although there's a couple times in this when they play it not on the synthesizer. Like at one point later, it sounds like it's on marimbas, like the stock iPhone ringtone that you hear only in movies and TV or around old people.
Because nobody uses that ringtone.
Yeah.
Plunk, 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 plunk. That one?
Yeah. It sounds like it's being the Halloween theme being played on that same marimba, and I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? It's already established. That's like deciding to do the Jaws theme on a flute for no reason. Like, don't do that.
I would love to hear the Jaws theme, but in the style of My Heart Will Go On.
With a pan flute?
Yeah, a pan flute.
But yes, every year around Halloween, I change my ringtone to Halloween, and then after Halloween, I change it to a Christmas one, and then I go back. I only have 2 seasonal ringtones. They happen within 2 months of each other, or 3 months, and then it's back to the same for everything else. But inevitably, it'll be in my pocket, and I'll be in the basement doing laundry, or I'm cooking, or I'm even just using the bathroom, and my phone rings and scares the ever-loving shit out of me. And
it's terrifying.
But it's such a silly thing because not only do I know it's fake, it's from a movie. Like, there's no reason. If someone was trying to murder me, they wouldn't play theme music first. But inevitably,
I think I would. I think that would be cool. That should be. I think that would be a fun horror movie.
The theme tune killer.
It's all diegetic sound. There's no non-diegetic spooky music to creep the audience out. It's all there to also creep out the victims.
So he would also need a fog machine to go with your other horror movie theory. So he brings his own. He puts it in a window, and suddenly the living room is foggy.
Yeah, you'd walk in and be like, why the fuck is my living room foggy? This doesn't make any sense.
Machete to the forehead. Boom.
Yeah. After you hear the what the hell is that sound? Thunk.
Or they go in too fast and he has a tiny little keyboard and speaker and they caught him and he's
he has a melodica. He has a melodica.
Free thunk he totally misses. I'd watch that short film.
I would definitely watch that film. I also realized as I say that I don't know that Mom would ever be able to watch a movie I'm in where I got murdered, visually murdered.
Oh, probably not.
I don't think she could see it.
So anyway, Jamie goes to school and it's Halloween, like you do. We are 40 minutes into this podcast and less than 15 minutes into this movie.
We are, but I've enjoyed the conversation. It's a lovely conversation.
So she's at school, and these are the shittiest. We've seen
Like,
a lot
these
of
are the
shitty
most
kids.
monster. Like, these are worse than The Bravo Child starring Macaulay Culkin and Rhoda.
Yeah, we have seen some shitty kids on this show, and these are by far the shittiest. They're
Why didn't your
chanting-
mom make you a costume? Oh, she can't because she's dead. Jamie's an orphan. Jamie's an orphan.
Like, what are we doing here? These are truly evil children.
Also, where are the teachers? Excuse me.
Yeah, this feels like basic level stuff of, hey, make sure the orphan kid doesn't get harassed on a daily basis.
Or make
Seems
sure
like
no students are chanting Jamie's an orphan.
Right.
Like, that feels number one on the list of things don't let happen.
Yeah, it feels pretty easy to accomplish that too. It's not like a big tough thing we're trying to keep out of the things here.
And to recap plot real quick, Mom and Dad's babysitter broke her ankle, so she can't babysit, so now Rachel has to babysit, which means she has to cancel her date with Wade. And there was an
I thought
upset.
it was Brody.
Thank you.
Brady.
Brady, yes. Wade
Yeah.
is his friend. Brady. And Jamie heard that and was like, I'm awful and ruin everything. And so she's like, I'll pick you up after school and we'll have fun. She tries like mom level hard to be buddy with her.
Yeah, it's weird given like 10 minutes ago in the movie, Jamie said, "Hey, do you love me?" And she's like, "Well, let's not throw around the L word just yet, kiddo."
I want to be sisters with a couple people.
Yeah,
I want to sister around for a little bit.
I like this. This is really fun, but I'm not.
I enjoy you. I like you.
Yeah, I'm just not ready to say that word. You know, it's not you, and
I'm not
like
ready for the
afraid-
sister label right now.
Yeah, I don't need to commit to this or anything. Like, you know, we both have options right now, and if we start saying that, then we don't have those options anymore. And you know, I don't need to go down that road again. But so here's one of these dumb things that would bother me and only me. She's like, "All right, well, we can either go to the Dairy Queen or I'll take you to get a Halloween costume at the discount mart. What do you want to do?" And Jamie goes, "Take me to the discount mart. I want to be like another kid." I'm like, okay, great. Then we roll up to the store and it's called Vincent's Drug.
Yup, bothered the shit out of me.
Like, how did nobody fucking catch that? How did nobody think to change that name?
George changed the line.
Or just say the drugstore. Or just the store. Like, why do we have to call it Discount Mart? Why are you putting wrong things into the movie?
It drove me nuts. Although her friend driver had like the best look I've ever seen in an 80s movie.
She did. Also, why would, like, that is literally the only scene she's in the whole entire movie.
Yep.
She's driving them to the store, and then she says, "I'm going to drop you off," and then she drives out of the movie.
Right off the silver screen.
She disappears.
I guess to imply like they don't have a car, like to show you that they don't have a car or a license.
Couldn't that have also been accomplished by having Jamie and Rachel walk down the street?
Yeah, I mean the first Halloween did have a lot of walking.
Yeah.
I was after she was gone. I was like, oh, I hope she comes back. Nope.
That
Sure
character
enough
literally
doesn't.
drives into the movie, picks up our main characters, drives them to their destination, and takes a left out of the movie.
She's an Uber driver. She's essentially an Uber driver.
That is not necessary to be in the movie, guys. Like, you added a character that does nothing. Other than look
drives.
great, because she has a great look. You're not wrong.
She's got the jean jacket. The hair is real tight to her head on the left side and huge everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like you
It
can't
looks
see
like
it.
She got shot with a
A taser?
leaf blower. That, like,
yeah.
all of her hair is moved out to one side. On the closest side, it's like, no, we're good here.
Like
Hug the wall.
You can't see it, but she's definitely wearing like a tutu petticoat
Oh, absolutely.
and leggings.
Yeah.
It's there in spirit.
So Jamie goes costume shopping while Rachel talks to Brady. I keep on calling him Brody. And they start
Brady's making
Brady
out.
and her. Yeah, like full on making out in the store while he's working.
Before they have she said, I need to talk to you. And then we follow Jamie to the costumes. Then cut back to them making out. And she's like, wait, I can't go on our date tonight. I was like, you didn't have this conversation yet?
Also, his reaction to this date being canceled is bananas. He gets so mad.
Like, it sounds like it was like a first or second date. It does not seem like they are an established relationship.
Well, see, I think it's more bothersome if he was like really excited to go on a date and it was one of their first dates. I assumed they'd been dating for a while. So interesting that you went the other direction because
to me it seemed like a fresh relationship.
Oh, okay. Because to me, if it was like, hey, I've been really looking forward to taking you out on a date, it's going to be our first actual date, and then she cancels, then I get the anger. But I thought they had been dating for a while, and so it made his betrayal later even bigger.
That's true. Maybe that, I don't know. The movie doesn't explain it, so
no,
open to interpretation.
The movie doesn't do a lot of explaining of anything, really, by the way. They should call this Halloween 4 hand-waving.
Make your own assumptions. Draw your own conclusions.
So this is the part
and the A in draw is a 4.
That's only a modern thing. Where they started throwing number letters in there. So this is the part we talked about a little bit before, that Jamie goes flipping through the costumes, and there's a Michael Myers mask there for no reason at all. And so we're cutting back and forth between this and Loomis limping down the highway, and we missed out on an opportunity to get what could have been the greatest sequence in perhaps cinema history. I mean, certainly the greatest sequence in all of Halloween as a film franchise, but this might even been bigger. Loomis is limping down the highway. I almost said hallway. And he flags down a car, and they don't stop. And then another car comes by, and it's a convertible with 2 cheerleaders and 2 dudes in it. And they stop, and they wave him up. And nothing would have made me more excited than to watch crazy melty face Loomis try to explain what he wants these kids to do to 2 cheerleaders and their 2 boyfriends. There is
like in their uniform and pom-poms cheerleaders. Just
they
so everyone
literally
at home
stand up and start cheering when the car stops. Like they pull over to the shoulder and they get up and are like, "Yay! Get in the car! C-A-R, car!" And he starts limping his way up to them. And I was falling off the couch in excitement because can you imagine?
I wish it had been like him in the car, sandwiched in the hump. On the hump in the back seat between 2 cheerleaders and one of their boyfriends.
No, in my mind, it was him on the hump with 2 cheerleaders next to him.
Oh,
and
the dudes are in the front seat?
The dudes are in the front seat, and they do not care what he's saying at all. And so he is like pleading with them to take him seriously, and instead they're just doing coordinated cheers around his bald head.
Yes, that sounds like a dream.
Literally nothing would have been better than Loomis in the back of a convertible with 2 cheerleaders. Like, oh my gosh. I need that to exist. That should have been Halloween 5, Loomis and the cheerleader gang.
Yeah, Loomis and the Haddonfield Huskers.
Yeah, but instead what happens is they spit gravel into his face, and Loomis gets picked up by an alcoholic preacher who's another character that shows up, drives one of our characters from point A to point B, and then drives right the fuck on out of the movie for no reason.
It's a lot of Ubers. There's a lot of Ubers.
This is the Uberiest film of all. Uber should literally just buy this movie. They couldn't make a better product placement if they tried.
Superimpose some of your stickers into the windows of these cars, and then
exactly.
That's it.
Add like 1 or 2 throwaway lines of dialogue that as you like cut to people, you have to get some body doubles who like get into the car, and you do ADR where they're like, "Oh man, it's so great! This Uber came so fast. It's amazing." And then
5 stars.
Yeah, and then cut to them like the body doubles getting out of the car, and it's like, "Thanks so much. Have a safe night. Don't forget to take a mint from the back." Later, guys.
Yeah, ADR be like, "Do you want? There's sparkling water in the back seat for you."
If you're gonna get sick, please tell me so I can pull over.
Please don't throw up inside my car.
Uber pays for it, but it's really, as you imagine, quite an inconvenience. Can you please not?
I do have some brown lunch bags back there for you if you need them. I would totally do that. If I was an Uber driver, there would be brown lunch bags in the like seat pockets. Like, look, if it's gonna happen and you don't have time to tell me,
because the back. That would be worse because the bag would fill up and then the bottom would blow out because it would just wet through. So it would plop. It would be a secondary plop.
Well, aren't I thought barf bags on planes were like the paper
They're
lunch
like
bags.
waxy coated. They're definitely reinforced.
Well, then I would do that then. It wouldn't. Whatever it is on airplanes is what I would use.
I'm imagining you buying...
Or just be a bunch of Ziploc bags. A bunch of gallon Ziplocs.
I don't think I've ever told this story on the podcast, and it's relevant because of the puke. I once...
Is it the shopping bag story?
Yes, I had a very bad New Year's Eve hangover a few years ago, and I was driving home. I had like a 45-minute drive in front of me, and I woke up and I got sick, and then cleaned it up and started driving over from my friend's place. And I had just gotten onto 95, which is a major highway, and I was doing about 65 miles an hour with cars on either side of me and in front and back of me, so I couldn't pull. There's nowhere to pull over. There's nothing I could do. And I came up like I was going to get sick again. And so I started like evaluating my options, one of which was open the window and throw open the car next to me, which didn't seem like a great idea. The other was just to throw up all over the inside of my car, also seemed like a bad idea. And so the third option that I came up with was, I'm going to open up my shirt and I'm going to puke into my own shirt because at least it will be contained, and I will have to sit in this mess for an hour driving home, or at least until I can pull over and like scrub it out as best I can. But at least it will be in
that
one
shirt's
place.
never getting worn again.
Oh, no. But I mean the car, like it would have been awful. It would have been like in my lap. I mean, there's no good scenario here.
You have to tuck your shirt into your pants. This is a catch-all.
But even then, it's going into my pants. It's the whole thing is disgusting. It's the grossest thing I can conceive of, but at least it's contained. And as I'm putting my mouth into my shirt, I see a plastic grocery bag on the floor of the passenger seat. So I quickly reach down and grab it, and I shake it out, and oh my gosh, it's a miracle the bag doesn't have any holes in it, which is...
I hate that so much.
I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I literally never get a grocery bag that doesn't have holes in it already. Mm-hmm. Not that I don't use reusable shopping bags. I'm a good environmental savior, as it were. But so I'm doing 65 miles an hour. I'm going to throw up. So I put the cruise control on, and I lock my left arm at the elbow to hold the wheel straight, and I use my right hand, and I hook the bag of the handle of the shopping bag over my left ear, and I hold the other side with my right hand like a feed bag for the world's most fucked up horse situation, and I proceed to throw up the entire contents of my internal body for a good several minutes while doing 65 miles an hour on the highway. And then I tied it into a neat little bow and gently put it on the footwell side of the passenger side of the car. And I drove the rest of the way home with the window open, gulping air like a golden retriever.
I'm imagining it rolling around like a fish in a bag.
Oh, God, no. Mercifully, it didn't really move. But yeah, so Uber drivers go with a plastic grocery bag with no holes. I can vouch for that. Well, enough about vomit. Let's get back to Halloween 4. So Loomis and the alcoholic preacher Uber driver take Loomis to the police station, where, as Andrew said before, they pretty much instantly believe him, which is really nice. And then we're cutting back and forth between Loomis and the sheriff trying to find Jamie and Rachel. And there's this really weird ADR line where, I don't know if you caught this, Jamie meets up with, I think it's supposed to be one of her tormentors from school, but I couldn't quite tell, but it's another group of kids, and they're like...
Oh, it is. It's one of the tormentors.
Okay, because the kid, like, it's almost as bad as our Yorku line that we cut into our summer rental thing, and if you can hear that in our summer rental episode, but this little kid's voice is something like, "Hey, that's a real cool costume, you want to come trick or treat with us?" And I was
essentially, it was our Uber driver from 10 minutes ago.
We don't have a big repertoire of voices here.
You might not.
So the Uber driver asked this Jamie Lloyd to have candy with them, and I was like, that did not sound like a child whatsoever. Why? That line is, again, unnecessary. Like, so many weird choices in these movies.
Yeah. Well, I also hate when, like, the shitty kids are all of a sudden nice and everyone's okay with it now.
Yeah, because she bought a Halloween costume now. Like, I'm
you know what you need, kid? A brick to the face.
Yeah, you told Jamie that she was an orphan and sang it to her face. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't want to get any fucking candy with you, you Nazi shithead.
Yeah, I wish it had been like, yeah, of course. And then, like, she, like, trips him going up the stairs. And, like,
And takes his bag of candy.
Yeah.
And leaves.
and then she puts her foot right next to his head and is like, you come at me again, the next foot's going in the back of your head.
Yeah.
And spits on him and walks away.
And she opens his candy and dumps it all over him and just picks out, like, her one favorite candy bar and takes a bite of it as she walks away. Yeah.
Basically, I want, like, Carmelo Lee. That's who I want. Carmelo Soprano as Jamie.
Or where she gets up real close to him, like when he's laying on the ground, she's like, fuck with me again, and I won't be the only orphan in school.
Yes, that's it. There it is.
And she just walks up to the front door, rings the doorbell, is like, trick or treat. That's what I want. I want all the people in all the movies we watch to be sociopaths. That's what I need.
Pretty much.
All sociopaths all the time.
Well, she's halfway there.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert.
She's not a slacker in that department. So...
And they go to the sheriff's house to trick or treat, and who is there with the sheriff's very naked daughter?
Yeah.
But Brady. She's answering the door for trick-or-treaters.
It's super fucked up.
Like,
She's just wearing a shirt.
She's wearing just a large T-shirt to answer the door for children.
And
Excuse
it's
you.
a risque T-shirt. It's like a boardwalk T-shirt. It says, cops do it by the book.
It definitely is a boardwalk T-shirt.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. And then
We got these crazy shirts printed up for the picnic.
Hey, Jerry, you see the shirt? Like, doesn't that imply that we, like, don't do sex good? What? No, it's fun. Like, we do it by the... Yeah, but, like, doing stuff by the book is boring, man. Like, that's no good. That's not something to brag about, man.
Oh, gross.
But later, she is in front of her dad in that outfit, which is just weird. Like, way past the threshold of okay.
No bueno. Like, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't wear that around children. And, like, your parents, you should probably wear pants.
Yeah, no, pants are a required part of that ensemble. So
unless you're, like, kicking it around your home alone, because I do that a lot. When I'm alone,
if you're
I'm not
alone,
answering
you
the
can do
door for
literally
children
anything you
or
want.
hanging out with my parents.
Right, yeah. Trick or treat, here's my butt. Like, all of my butt, and just what it looks like.
That sounds like something I would send on Snapchat to someone. Trick or treat, here's my butt. That's not an actual, like, appropriate thing for children. That's my Snapchat story.
I'm so glad I'm not friends with you on the Snapchat. That would be a horrifying situation for me.
I wouldn't send it to you.
Trick or treat, here's my butt. What? I'm around children.
So she gets distracted by Brady, and then Jamie decides, let me ditch my sister.
Yeah.
What?
Just takes off running with the kids who were calling her an orphan like 3 hours before.
I won't be
These
the
are
only
really
orphan in school. Steps on a Reese's cup.
Yeah, that she'd have to whisper that and then snap a Kit Kat right in front of his face.
Kit Kat, Twix, something crispy.
Yeah, you need a crunch. You need a crunch. You can't do a Snickers. Just like snaps it in his face, drops it there.
Shoves it in his mouth.
So at the bar, the TV crackles and they say, "Hey!" It doesn't crackle. The TV just
it's on. It's already on.
Yeah, the TV is just on, and the newscaster says all citizens are being encouraged to go home. Businesses should shut their doors. And the guy who owns the bar tries to call the police, and it just rings and rings and rings. And they're like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "The police station phone is just ringing." And then everyone at the bar jumps into action.
What was their thought process and logic here? I couldn't figure it out.
They were literally forming up a posse, like we're watching The Searchers or something.
But, like, okay, I've called the police maybe 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
Is, like, ringing and ringing and ringing that crazy?
They called the police station, not 911, so
gotcha.
It is possible for it to ring. Yeah. As someone who's called the police a lot, because I used to be a reporter,
Right. I was like, why did you call the police a lot?
No, I had to like actually call the police station. I left lots of messages for police. Like many times the phone just rang. Many times. You know, if you call 911, that doesn't happen, or it shouldn't happen. Hopefully, it does happen in some places in this country. But yeah, if you call the station, that's not weird. But they immediately leap into act. Although, to be fair, this town has like 3 employees at the police station, so it's probably
That's true. It's very
less
small.
likely. But everyone at the bar grabs their guns and just circles the wagons.
We find out that I almost called him Jason. That Michael showed up at the Jamie's house and killed her dog.
Yeah. And then as they're Loomis and the sheriff are investigating the place, and they see the dead dog in there. And then they go downstairs, and Loomis and the guy go to leave, and they turn to the guy, the officer
Deputy.
who's with them, the deputy, thank you. And they go, "You wait here." And he shuts the door behind them. I'm pretty sure he should not be waiting in the house of these people for when they come home, because they're going to freak the fuck out because there's a stranger in their house. Wait on the porch, dog. Like, what are you doing here?
There was a police car in their driveway.
I know, but like,
So like, if I came up to mom and dad's house and saw a police car in the driveway, I would assume there's a police officer in the house.
But wouldn't that freak you out if you unlock the door and he's just like chilling on the couch or chilling at the kitchen table?
No, because I probably would have called into the house, like, hello?
Yeah. I just picture you unlocking the door to a mustachioed man in a hat sipping a soda, like, "I took this out of the fridge. I'm sorry."
That sounds like the
that.
beginning of an internet video trip.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Suddenly things are happening that you don't want to have happen. It seems bad. It seems bad. Also, in this part of the thing, Jason... I just did it. You just ruined me.
I'm sorry.
Michael Myers wants to cut power to Haddonfield, and so he does the thing that makes the most sense to him, which is throw a human being into the power relays.
Would a human body have that reaction, you think?
Yeah, people conduct electricity.
I know, but like it like overloaded the system for the whole town.
I don't know. I feel like the way that he threw him made a bunch of parts that weren't connect, and that probably is what did it.
Oh, fair enough.
It's
fair enough.
essentially like he wired two of them together because the body conducted the electricity. But that dude gets fucked right up.
Yep. You don't see it though, which is shocking for how gory this movie is. Like, you don't see like bubble face.
Well, it happens a couple times in this movie too, because later when we go back to the police station and everyone has been killed, there's a dude with his arms missing, but we didn't get to see what happened.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering if it was budgetary, that they just didn't have the budget for the what they wanted to do with the murder.
Well, number 3 didn't make a whole lot of money for them to play with.
No, that's true. That's true. So it was at this point that I noticed that Danielle Harris had, as a child anyway, crazy anime expression eyes.
She did. I didn't really like her as an actress. Can I say that?
I mean, you can say whatever you want. You never talk nice about children on this show, so why don't you just continue to say terrible things?
Okay. I mean, it's not all children. Just most of the children we've had in our terrible, terrible movies.
Yeah, she's not like super great, but she's also like 10, so
I didn't know she like still did stuff after this movie. I didn't realize.
Well, she quit for a long time because she had a really fucked up situation with a stalker.
Really?
Yeah, she had someone became infatuated with her as a child, like in these movies.
I'm looking.
It was a guy who was just out and out stalking her, like a full-on psycho, like you would fear in your worst fears of stalker, and stopped working for a long time. But in the last like 5 or so years, maybe 10 at this point, she's been working again.
Oh shit, she was the voice of Debbie Thornberry in The Wild Thornberries. That's crazy.
Wow, that's wild.
I wish I knew that.
Is that the main Thornberry, or is that a sibling?
Her older sister.
Okay.
With the hair over her face.
Yeah.
She was stalked in 1995 by an obsessed fan who was later arrested after bringing a shotgun and a teddy bear to her house.
Yeah.
In 2007, she appeared on the Dr. Phil show talking about her experience. He was obsessed with her character of Molly in the show Roseanne. And then in 2009, the guy started sending her messages on Twitter, and she got a restraining order.
The same guy?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Well, that's really fucking terrible.
Yeah. And she did talk about how making these movies at a young age, she was like, I knew we were making a movie, but I wanted to be a good actress, but everyone else really was concerned with making sure that I knew everything was fake and not real, so in between takes, it was very light and fun, which is kind of cool that, like, she, as a young actress, was like, no, like, I'm being an actress, and I want to be good and cry and scream like I'm supposed to, and everyone else was like, no, make sure it's fake, it's super fake, little kid.
I mean, that's probably a good thing, given that...
Oh, I think so, yeah, but it's interesting that she had the headspace of like, no, it's a movie, I'm an actress.
So at this point, Loomis and the sheriff catch Jamie and Rachel. And
how big was that trick or treat route? That they were like searching for each other in like a junkyard, and I was like, where do you think she went?
It's
like,
very, very strange.
If you took, I don't think you ever took me trick or treating because Dad usually did it.
Yeah,
but
I don't
like,
think I did.
If you had and we got separated, there's a very small number of places I could have been.
Well, the other thing too is we grew up in a neighborhoody, like a sequestered neighborhood, where once you did the loop of the houses, the only place you could walk to, you would be stupid to walk to. Was farmland back then, so there's nothing to go to. But
there's basically like two neighborhoods that kind of connected through a small street, and then a smaller neighborhood a 10-minute walk away.
Right. So we had a pretty good amount of houses to trick or treat at, but it was somewhat secluded in that once you left that area, there was no house. There are now, but at the time there weren't that many other houses in the area that you could walk to. But this is like small town America streets where it's, every block has 10 or 12 houses on it, and it's just house after house after house. But you're totally right, because she goes to look for her in a junkyard as opposed to where more houses are.
Yeah, follow the houses. Find the lights that are on.
The kid is here for candy, just FYI. That is the point of this exercise. Since we're talking about this, I need to bring this to your attention. I was listening to another podcast, and they started talking about this, and apparently there's a thing now called the Switch Witch, and what you do is you teach your children that after Halloween is over, you take the candy that you got and you leave it out for the Switch Witch, and the more you leave, the bigger present you get. And then they take the fucking candy.
Do they leave them good presents?
I mean, it would depend on the parent.
That sounds
Could you
horrible.
imagine a world where mom and dad are like, okay, we're going to take all your candy, here's a Lego set. Like, what? I would be so
Actually,
angry.
you know what would be a really cool thing if, like, there was like a kid in a neighborhood who didn't couldn't eat candy or whatever, so their parents bought a Lego set and broke up all the pieces into like Ziploc bags and gave one to each house to give him.
Okay, stop turning this cute. I'm trying to be outraged over something.
I know, but as you said it, I was like, that's kind of...
Stop trying to break it into a cute thing for the poor kid who can't eat candy. I'm trying to be outraged at parents taking away one of the basic tenets of childhood.
Yeah, but also our mother couldn't lie to save her life, so would never have happened with us.
I mean, she did that Santa thing pretty good.
Other than Santa, our mother couldn't
I feel
lie.
like this would have fallen into the Santa paradigm. She kept the Easter Bunny charade up forever too.
Oh, I forget about the Easter Bunny sometimes.
She would have kept this up if it fit her narrative of things that she wanted to lie us about. It's just very narrow.
I suppose, yes.
Views. Anyway, so the Loomis and the sheriff go to the sheriff's office, and they find all these dead people in it, including the aforementioned armless guy. And then when they step outside, 4 or 5 pickup trucks full of dudes roll up, and Loomis is basically like, Michael Myers is here! We have to kill him! And the sheriff is like, you're just going to deputize everybody? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You have no authority. You have no police force!
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which is true, because they're all dead inside. But yeah, he just does the we need to kill Michael! We need to get him! And
I like the voice. It's not good, but I like it.
I've been working on it. I've been trying to... I think it's right close enough to be in... It's not good, but it's recognizably bad. Mm-hmm. It's right where I want it to be. Also, there's this... a bit where the cop who was stationed at the Lloyd house radios the sheriff, and he's like, hey, I heard about what went down at the station. I'm on my way in. How? Did you hear about what happened at the station?
Did you tell? Did they radio you? What happened? What happened here?
So he goes running after to save it, and this is when we get the Halloween on the marimba, because the posse thinks they see Michael Myers, and I guess the marimba is supposed to let you know that it's not actually Michael, but they they shoot a bush like 200 times?
Conservatively.
Yeah, 4 guys just unload all the bullets ever made in America into this bush, and then they walk around behind it to check, and oops, not Michael Myers, we just murdered someone.
Because we said there were a bunch of teenagers earlier who, like, surrounded the cop car dressed as Michael Myers, which, like, defo would have gotten you killed today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They
Just
all would have been shot.
Bullet to the face.
One of them. Yeah. Brady is with that girl, the sheriff's daughter, and they're fooling around in front of a roaring fire, which is like a lot for a couple of high school kids to be doing. I feel like,
although I mean the power was out.
Oh, I know, but they're having like a romantic lovemaking in front of a roaring fire, and it just feels like y'all just met each other, right? Like it feels like a lot what you're doing right now.
Well, they do work together, I guess.
Yes, they have a deep connection that can only be known by those who have to develop 1-hour photos in vicinity of each other.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. And sell shitty tablecloth costumes.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to Pound Town. They're going to the Bone Zone. Whichever it was is the one is that Mom hates. I don't remember which.
Bone is the one Mom hates.
They're boning down in front of a fire. And they see the lights come into the driveway, and she's like, oh, God, my dad is home. But what makes it delicious is not only is her dad home, but also the girl that the boy made mad is in the back seat of the car, which is just delicious.
It's just the cherry on top of that sundae.
So she quickly scrabbles her clothes back together, and they make a point to show you her hiding her bra in the couch, and that never comes back.
No. I was like, oh, is that going to like come up later? Is it someone going to find it?
Well, I thought we were getting like a Chekhov's bra where someone was going to be scrabbling for a weapon and somehow a bra was going to come into play as a weapon against
the
Michael.
Bazonga Bazooka.
Yeah.
From Bob's Burgers.
I was very excited that we were going to get something weird in this movie to go along with Loomis and the cheerleaders, but sadly, not to be. Not to be.
There's a dress form in the attic, of course, that spooks someone.
Yeah, like you do. They also divide up a bunch of tasks where the deputy is asked to go outside on a ladder and nail the shutters shut, and that just feels like the biggest waste of like, what is a shutter preventing anyone from doing?
Nothing. Not a damn. Unless it's like a hurricane shutter, it doesn't do anything.
Right, they're little wooden slat shutters. He'll just rip right through. Like, what are you doing here, boss?
He'll punch through them.
Yeah. We saw him do it with a closet in the first movie.
Then Rachel and the sheriff's daughter are in the kitchen having it out, and she's like, you knew exactly what you were doing. Rachel essentially calls her a slut without calling her a slut. Then throws coffee on her and walks away.
Ruins that cops do it by the book t-shirt.
Her Jersey City boardwalk t-shirt.
And Michael was in the back seat of the deputy's car the whole time. The deputy just didn't notice that at all, which seems fine.
Although I guess cars didn't light up when you open them like they do now. Right?
I mean, I suppose the dome light technology might not have existed, but also it feels like if there was a human man in the back of my car, it would not be a thing that would go unnoticed by me.
I would hope not.
So Michael breaks in, like you would expect, and...
It's actually a really great reveal, because we don't know he's in the house yet.
Right.
And then the sheriff's daughter comes in with the coffee, and the deputy is sitting in the chair in shadow, like, rocking. And she's like, hey, thought you might like some coffee. It's pretty lame. I wish the TV was on. And she lights a candle, and that candle illuminates the dark corner of the room where the deputy's body is. Yeah. And it's Michael Myers sitting in the chair, which was a really cool reveal.
Yeah, and I was really perplexed because he had that big old shotgun, and I was like, oh no, Michael's got a gun. This is going to get interesting. Oh no, he's going to impale her with it.
Because sure.
To pin her to the wall. Okay, sure.
That's the most effective use of that.
There's a very Batman element to Michael in this movie. He just hates guns. Like two different times he gets a gun and doesn't use it. So it comes down to Brady, Rachel, and Jamie as the only alive people in the house. And Brady is trying to do like a big last stand. He's got the shotgun and he shoots the door, and then he blows a hole in the door, and then he's like, "Oh, it's metal. We can't get out this way." Which
and I was like, "What?"
I didn't really understand what that was. And then runs up the stairs.
Also, break a window, guys. Break a damn window.
Well, they nailed all of them shut.
So shatter it.
But they nailed the shutters shut and they nailed the window shut. So now it's hard to get out the window.
Oh, I guess I didn't think about the shutters. You're right.
Yeah, like they have to break the glass and get through the wood of the shutters. They basically trapped themselves.
And then dumbass forgets he fired a gun 5 minutes after he fired the gun.
Yeah.
And is like, oh no, I have to reload as Michael slowly comes up the stairs and Rachel and Jamie are squawking at the top of the stairs. Michael
climbs these stairs like wrestlers in a ladder match. Like, to the point where it really bothers my ability to suspend disbelief.
His speed is so frustrating in these movies.
Because, like, not 10 minutes after this scene, he fucking teleports.
Yeah, he teleports.
So he fights Brady. Brady's basically sacrificing himself. Michael... He uses the gun as a club against Michael, which doesn't do anything, and then Michael throws it over a railing, followed by Brady over the railing.
Mm-hmm. And after he crushes his face.
Yes. And then we go up on the roof for the same sequence as in Jurassic Park 2 or Jurassic Park 3, where they're climbing and running from the raptors, and the roof tiles are all... It's like those Spanish roof tiles, and they're like and unraveling.
I forgot about that, yeah.
It reminded me of that a lot.
Because Rachel shatters a window with a suitcase and is like, climb on my back, we're going to climb out the window. And Michael's very slowly walking around the roof trying to catch them. And she ties the satellite dish cable around her waist. She's like, I'm going to lower you down. How strong is that?
Well, for some reason, it's not strong. That is a good point. But also for some reason, there's like 60 feet of excess cable just hanging up there. It's very weird.
Yeah, there shouldn't have been that much, and it wouldn't have supported any weight.
Yeah, it could probably hold like 10 pounds, maybe 20. Certainly not a full-grown child.
Yeah, that girl's at least 60 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah. Rachel lowers Jamie off the roof, hand over hand, sort of, and then she gets stuck, and Jamie somehow, from 10 feet up, is able to... And they hand wave right over this.
Yeah. Well, because also Rachel they're like, focus on Rachel. She's dangling over the top of the roof, like holding on to the gutter. And I'm like, she should just try and like break the gutter and have it swing down and she'll be fine.
Well, she would at least have her fall slowed a bit.
But like, but then she'd be closer to the ground to fall, I mean.
Yeah.
So instead she just drops off the top. And you hear crunch.
Weird. Rachel, you do hear a really sick crunch, and I thought we were going to get a bag of soup, and we didn't.
No, I thought we were going to get like shin and knee bones through.
Out through, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's weird though because these two things are happening simultaneously. So we have Jamie dangling, and she like swings herself and then like thuds into the side of the house. It's like ugh, and grabs onto something. And then we cut over to Rachel, and Rachel thinks she's in one of those scenes where she's hanging by both hands, and the killer is like, "Let me stab your left hand." She lets go and puts it back, and the killer's like, "Let me stab your right hand." She lets go and puts it back because she's doing that. She's like left and righting, letting go.
But he's not doing anything.
Like
he does it once. He does bring a knife to her once.
Right, but it's supposed to be the scene where like he's trying to stomp on her knuckles, and he's not doing that whatsoever, and she is reacting in like this very cliched movie, like dangle left, dangle right, dangle left, left right, and then just lets go and does a big fall.
Crunch. And then we cut back to Jamie, and she's climbing down a trellis.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. She somehow managed to get herself out of the weirdly tied wire harness and climb down 10 or 12 feet from the side of the house. And in the instant between Rachel falling and Jamie running over and being like, "Oh my God, are you dead?" Michael appears in the side of the house,
like on the grass on the side of the house, walking.
There is literally no way he could have done that unless he jumped, and that would have certainly injured him.
Unless that's what they should have. They should have shown him like step jumping off the side of the house and just landing and being like on his feet, vertical, being fine. Like he's supernatural spooky. That would have been fine.
It would have been totally dope if he just like casually stepped off to the side of the house and just that would have been dope.
Like landed on some pavement and it shattered beneath him.
Well, it doesn't have to be fucking that ridiculous, but yes.
I'm cool with the Terminator. I'm cool with a little Terminator action.
He's not a 2,000-pound exoskeleton in a meat suit. He's a supernatural human man. So Loomis cuts in, and it actually got me to jump a little bit. It's a jump scare, but it got me a little.
Yeah.
And he's going, "Where's the schoolhouse? Where is the schoolhouse?" And I wanted her to be like, "What the fuck is a schoolhouse?" Because who knows what that is.
the one-room schoolhouse where we each have our own personal chalkboard and 2 books bound together by a leather belt.
And there's a wood stove to keep us warm in the winter. We all have to bring a few sticks from home. Like, the schoolhouse!
That's the tax that keeps this public school running. A few wooden sticks in the winter. And a gun for grizzlies.
Oh, God. We're supposed to be a haven for the people who want to get away from that.
I'm sorry. At
this point, when they're in the school, Michael Myers pops out and grabs Loomis. And did you notice that he had, like, full-on blonde surfer cut?
I was like, why was his hair a different color and cut now?
It was totally blonde. Again, how was this in the movie? Why did they even make that?
But also, why is the school the most secure place? That one didn't make sense to me.
Schools are usually bomb shelters or like emergency shelters, so
that's true.
Maybe that's what he was thinking, but I don't know. I agree. It was a weird choice.
The lynch mob shows up as they're running out of the school because Jamie tripped down some stairs because children are the worst, and then Rachel
does a full-on Die Hard.
Yeah, comes out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher to save the day.
Yeah, she sprays it with the fire extinguisher, and then they limp out.
That's got to be bad to breathe, right? Like for normal people.
I don't know. They do it in wrestling all of the time. Like it happens a few times a year in wrestling, so it must not be that bad to deal with.
It's not the worst thing you could do to your body.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're talking. I guess to be fair, I'm talking about people who throw themselves off large objects for a living. So
into flaming tables.
Yeah, perhaps not the best judges of things, but yeah, I don't know. That's a good point.
To them, they're like, "Oh, I have to breathe in some chemicals from a fire extinguisher. Sign me up today. I don't have to do the table stunt."
It's just carbon dioxide, though, right?
I guess, yeah, but that's what you breathe out, not in.
Yeah, right, but it's not good for you to breathe, but it's not like it's, actual poison.
Fair enough. So the lynch mob drives away with the girls, and I was like, is this where we're going to get weird?
Yeah,
like,
I thought this was going to be the turn
evil?
into the Thorn trilogy stuff.
Yeah.
Because even when he gets on the radio and he's like, hey, I've got the 2 girls and we're heading out of town, I was like, oh shit, is this the thing where they're like the kidnapping cult? But no. They're just dudes.
Just some dudes.
And then they see some police and
fire their guns a bunch.
Yeah, I guess to get attention, but it doesn't seem like a great idea.
No.
So they stop and they talk to the last cop, and the cop's basically like, go down the road, there's a police station, we're going to go to town. And as soon as they start driving again, you see Michael Myers' hands climbing up the back of the truck. So are we to believe that he's been hanging on the bottom of this truck for 4 miles?
At least 4 miles, yes. Yes, we are.
Okay. So he climbs in the back and has a very phone boothy fight where he just has very quick hand-to-hand combat with 3 men with guns who somehow don't remember how to shoot at all, and throws them all out of the back of the truck.
And the driver doesn't notice.
Oh, nobody notices in the cab. The kids don't notice either.
How? You're the driver. You drive this truck.
And then he punches out
like
the driver's
our father will Tetris 200 pounds of stuff onto the truck so that the window is completely obstructed. And as he's driving, we'll notice something has shifted in the middle of everything and go, hang on, pull over and fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, there's a 0% chance that dude didn't notice that.
Yeah, no, the weight was shifting around like crazy back there. He totally would have noticed the people like having a fucking fist fight in the truck. There were 4 people fighting each other. And then Michael climbs on the roof and punches out the driver's side window and then pulls this guy's face off. It's so gross.
It was horrible. Also, why wouldn't he have just slammed on the brakes?
I don't know. It takes her a really long time to come to that idea, too. I kept waiting for her to put her seatbelt on so she could do it, because I've seen that before in other like action comedies where it's like the person needs to jam on the brakes, and so they like quickly slap a seatbelt on. I think that's a bit in Keanu, even.
Well, also, Jamie is sitting on the floor of the cab.
Yeah,
so
and I feel
not
like
in the safest place either.
No, but also she's not going to get thrown out the window, at least.
This is true, but I wanted some BMX Bandits bullshit where they slammed on the brakes and like Michael's arms are still hooked onto the top of the truck.
It rips him right out of the sockets.
And he just stands up with no arms.
So she hits the brakes, Michael goes flying, then she floors it and hits him, and he gets thrown into a ditch.
Good thing she could drive a stick, by the way.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I learned to drive a stick, is just in case I ever get stuck in a horror movie.
Good to know. I don't know how to do that, but
yeah,
I'm also a heartless bitch, so like I don't have it. Like I will leave everyone behind. Like no, oh my boyfriend wants to stay behind and shoot this guy. Deuces, you made that choice. I'm gonna go hide in the attic.
But if you don't have a car that's if you get stuck, the only car out in the old abandoned farm is manual, you're boned.
Yeah, but at that point I have enough of a head start. I can just sprint.
Oh, you think you're gonna outrun the teleporter?
Yes, the teleporter.
Okay.
Because here's the thing, I would have been out of that house at least 20 minutes before they got out of that house.
Well, that's the thing. I really kind of liked that they barricade themselves. Like, they end up screwing themselves by doing a good job of barricading.
Well, yeah, no, but, like, still, they were, like, she was standing there squawking at him to, like, come on for a good...
Come on!
Like, a good 15... Like, no, let him go. He's dead now.
Yeah.
He's already dead.
He volunteered to be a roadblock. Go.
Mm-hmm.
So... Jamie, Rachel goes to get the cops, and Jamie...
Obvious dummy is obvious, by the way, when he gets hit by the truck.
Oh, yeah.
It's very clearly, all of a sudden, it's a dummy.
They cut to, like, a straight-up barnyard scarecrow.
It's a scarecrow.
That is going to get hit with a car.
It's a mechanic's bodysuit stuffed with hay.
Yeah, you can see the broom handle. That's the arms. They're exactly out in the Jesus pose, like just full on wide as possible, and it's really bad. It's really cheap looking.
She hits him into this ditch, and she drives down, and she's like, "Jamie, stay in the car." And I was like, "Is she going to go over to him?" No, she's going back up the hill to talk to the police. Yeah. Bring Jamie with you.
Yeah, I don't understand why you just didn't put the car in reverse and drive backward up the hill. Like, it's ridiculous. And then Jamie runs to Michael's side to hold his hand, which is really weird.
You had one job, Jamie. You were told one thing to do.
I mean, I get that it's her only living family member, and that's probably a weird thing, but also he has definitely been trying to murder you for, like, a whole movie now.
And we'll try again.
Yeah.
So the police all get down there. He stands up, and they shoot the hell out of him.
And it's another scene where they shoot something 100 times, and the bullets that they have, like the things getting hit by bullets, is such a wide spread. I love it. Like, nobody's a good shooter in this movie. Not one person.
They're all stormtroopers.
Yeah. So they shoot him 100 times, and then he falls like into a bottomless pit that opens up and where
a well. It's a well.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because in the fifth movie, it's a well. It is they blow it up.
Oh, okay. Because there was definitely no like standard wishing well, bucket with a rope situation.
Yeah, no. It's just like an old style well.
Okay, all right. So yeah, he falls down, and then at the end of the movie, it's a twist. Jamie is Michael now, and she stabbed Rachel.
Not Rachel, her mom.
Oh, it was her mom?
She stabbed her mom.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And then Loomis is about to shoot her, and the detective karate chops the pistol out of his hand, picks it up, and immediately points it to the same place that Loomis was pointing it, which is a weird move to me.
As Donald Pleasance just screams down the barrel of the camera. Just screams down the barrel of the camera.
No! Yeah, it's really bad.
But also, there's 5 more movies for me to be in, so I'm not that complaining.
I think he only gets 2 more. I think he died during the filming of 6.
Oh, that's a shame.
So 18 total kills by Michael Myers, which I believe is the most in franchise history. Not necessarily the highest body count, but the most killed actually by Michael.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, apparently Danielle Harris was in the reboot of Halloween.
Yeah, she was. I do remember that. So this podcast, I'm pretty sure, is going to be longer than the movie, which is a tight 84 minutes. We are currently at about 90 without editing, so it's going to be close. I don't think this is good, but I still enjoyed it, and I certainly enjoy making fun of it with you, which usually helps things. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give this like a soft recommend, definitely not as much as Friday the 13th 4, which I definitely love.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But this is definitely watchable. All of our Part 4 movies this month were really watchable and fun. Do you have any final thoughts on Halloween 4 before I get into my recap of the whole Fourbruary thing here?
It's super enjoyable. I think it's a comeback. It's right before the start of the Thorn trilogy, I think, because I think that's 5 and...
No, technically this is the Thorn trilogy.
Oh, this is part... Yeah, this is 4.
Yeah. 4, 5,
because it gets
6.
brought up in 5 and like really hammered home in 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I do prefer the ones with Jamie Lee Curtis just because I think she is icon, legend, and star. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I mean those movies are way better.
But definitely an enjoyable time. Oh, and it's less than 90 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's you're.
It's
in
like
and out real
pregame.
quick
It's like
with it.
pre-gaming to get ready to go out movie. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That will actually turn into you staying in all night watching the rest of them drinking with your friends.
which is fine. Which is a good way to spend your time, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
And this is before it gets bogged down into too much weird mythology stuff, which is nice because that does happen with these movies where there's just too much stuff going on. Where like the Thorn trilogy is ridiculous with how much they try to cram in mythos-wise. You're like, look, I just want to watch him kill teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't need this.
don't
But
need
yeah, I enjoyed this too. I would definitely recommend this. Let's do. We haven't done this in a long time. Let's do Marry F Kill with the Fourbruary this year.
Are we saying watch
Just the
forever?
movies,
watch one
watch
more
forever.
time, never watch again.
Yeah.
I would probably watch this one more time.
Okay.
It's tough. I'm gonna watch Nightmare Forever, despite the bug scene.
Okay.
And I'm never gonna watch Friday the 13th again.
Wow. Okay, we finally got one of these where we don't agree because I'm like the complete opposite of that. I definitely,
really?
yeah. Friday the 13th Part 4 is one I would watch over and over again for sure. I loved.
I know,
that.
but it was I either had to watch it forever or kill it, and I don't know if I would never want to watch Nightmare 4 again.
I see. I would kill this even though I like it, and I would watch
Really?
Nightmare again. Yeah, I like this movie, but it's definitely not as fun as Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is, and I don't think it touches Friday 4, which is the only Friday the 13th movie I really enjoy. I think that movie's dope as hell. Plus, like, if I couldn't ever have where's a corkscrew in my life again, I would be a sad man.
As much Crispin Glover as you can get.
I need all of the glove. I
can see that. Okay, that is a very valid point, and
Double
might
or
make me
triple love.
reconsider. But
that's good. It's the first time I did one of these. We did with Marry F Kill, and we didn't just have the same exact answer. It's really good. It's the
because
point
I
of
definitely because for me this is one I definitely want to. This is definitely a not kill, so that's what made it hard.
If in a just world, I wouldn't want to kill any of them.
Yes, obviously.
I like all three of these movies. That's why I thought this would be an actual tough one. There's no obvious doomsday.
Yeah, there really isn't because they're all three solid movies.
It's not like when we did Parasite 3D and both of us were like, kill it with fire, find the negatives and burn them.
Burn it.
Don't let anyone do this to themselves.
Destroy
ever
it.
again.
Destroy it. Go back in time.
Yeah,
we will terminate ourselves just to destroy this movie.
We've created a paradox.
Sorry, Demi Moore. Sorry, Demi Moore. Or whichever one you are. Courtney Cox Arquette.
Courtney Cox, Demi Moore, the ultimate parable, the ultimate problem for us. Have
That's
they ever
what our
done a movie together? Did we ever look that up?
I'm going to Google that right now. But that's what our book's going to be. That's what our book's going to be called. It's going to be Demi Moore or Courtney Arquette. Who knows? Or Courtney Cox. Who knows?
Not the very obvious one that everyone thought we would make that was more Cox.
Oh, that's a good one.
That people just assumed.
So the first page of things is just about how much they look alike. Also included on that list is Jennifer Connelly.
She's not definitely. She does.
Oh my God! There's a photo of them side by side, and it's very jarring.
I bet you can tell them apart much more easily if it's side by side.
You definitely can, but it's still like, are you sisters?
Are you sending it to me?
No. Hang on. Let me.
We'll put this up on the Facebook page.
It looks like they've never done a movie together.
Okay. Well, we need to get on that world.
Get them together.
Seeing them next to each other is freaky.
I know.
It's weird. It's weird.
It's what I don't know why why were they next to each other?
It was apparently a glamour party that was also sponsored by Suave, which isn't that like dollar store soap?
It is. Is it like was it like a black party? I can't quite tell.
But like right, Suave is like cheap.
Suave is cheapo. Suave is pretty cheapo.
Okay, that's a weird thing. We'll put that on the Facebook message that to me so I can post it there later. Thank you guys so much for listening to our show. This has been Dissecting the 80s. If you would like more from us, our website, dissectingthe80s.com, has the whole back catalog, our Hall of Fame. Please rate and review the show. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/dissectingthe80s. We're at Dissectomania on Twitter, and occasionally on Instagram at dissectingthe80s. If you want to get a hold of us, email dissectingthe80s@gmail.com or leave us a message at 856-DISSECT, DISSECT, and we'll play your message on the air. We'd love it if you could take the time to do us a very important favor. It is coming up on my birthday here. Actually, it just was my birthday, so as a belated gift for both me and Andrew, if you could take the time to go on iTunes and rate and review the show, it would mean the world to us. We really appreciate that, and we will read those on the air. Why don't you tell the folks what our next movie is?
Next time we will be discussing the 1986 King Kong Lives, the sequel to the Jessica Lange 1970s version of King Kong. But she's not in the sequel, so...
Tying into that new King Kong, which actually looks kind of dope. I don't know if I...
Yeah, it looks interesting.
For the reviews. Yeah. We will see you in 2 weeks with that. Thank you again for listening to Dissecting the 80s. I have been Tripp Lano.
I am always Andrew Lano.
Until next time.
Don't you forget about me.
Dissecting the 80s is a Chum Some of This production. Things we're gonna cut out in editing. Franchise. I can't do it now. Michael.
You lost it.
I did. Michael. Michael. I can't do it anymore. Michael. Okay. Michael. All right, I give up. I'm not gonna do it. I can't get the voice up.
Please leave this in though at the end.
Rate and review Dissecting the 80s wherever you download podcasts. Well, thank you for the plug there, Mr. Loomis. We really, really appreciate that. Thank you for coming on the show just to plug it.
He sounds like Dumbledore. That's what it really sounds like, Tripp. It sounds like Dumbledore in the first 2 Harry Potter movies.
Harry Potter!
5 points to Gryffindor.
Come look in my pensive.
That's what it sounds like.
I have a bowl of memories to share with you.
And also a bowl of guacamole to share with you.